I would like to call the Charter Review Commission meeting of to order. And then I would like us to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Morrison.
Yes, here.
Quinones. Brett. Melendez.
Here.
Sheen.
Here.
Rudd, absent. Dia, absent. Mr. Myers, absent. Mr. Rivera, absent. Ms. Perez, absent.
She is on her way.
Currently, we have 5 in attendance, 2 short of the quorum.
Okay. So we will continue to, we can have the interview at this point. Okay. Also, public comment? Yeah, they can have the comments. Public comments.
It's not a meeting, but you can have comments.
Yes, okay, very good. Is there any public comments at this point? Yes, please come and make sure it's on and let us know. And please sign that in. Okay, thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone, Commission, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. My name is Fred Thompson, resident of the City of Reading, former chairman of Reading Redevelopment Authority. A couple things I'd like to address today, and that's the lack of participation or lack of opportunities for individuals of color to exist on a lot of these boards and commissions. The other thing that I'd like to discuss is the term limits on all positions in the city, pretty much, especially elected. We have some folks who are been on boards or been in seats for well beyond the 2 terms stipulated by the city charter, and are still holding office. And the explanation I was given was back in 2020, there was a revision done to the charter, but I read that revision. That revision didn't exclude or state that it was being removed in place of the referendum due to COVID. It was just I'm not quite sure what the purpose of it was, to be honest with you. It doesn't make sense to me. But we have individuals that are sitting on boards right now that have exceeded their time, have expired. Their times have expired based on the charter revision, well, the charter itself, and which is two terms. We have a couple of individuals that have been there quite some time. And my thing is this: if you can't get it done in the first 8 years, you're not going to get it done in the next 8. I'm trying to move on and let's get some new blood into the mix. Well, back to I know I'm jumping around, and I didn't come with a specific agenda, but back to the participation. There seems to be a rule or a slight that the citizens of Reading aren't qualified to run a lot of these agencies or even hold positions within the city government. I've never seen an actual recruitment for city residents too. It's always been outsourced, looking for folks outside of the city of Reading. The other thing that I have an issue with is that referendum did ease the rights of residency. If you're drawing money within the city, you're being paid by taxpayer dollars, there should be some reciprocity of that money coming back into the community and not leaving the community. Anytime you have a position that's a directed level or above, you should at least have, if you're not going to live here, have an apartment here. Let some of that money come back into the city so that we're able to get back some of the funding that is going out of the city that's currently not coming back in. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're in a deficit. Indication of poor management of our funds. And I would assume that's probably one of the that could be an existing issue. It's not going to be a major, it's not going to correct it, but it'll be a step in the right direction. I thank you for my time, and have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that you did speak on that. And should we interview any of the, I'm so sorry. I'm glad that you spoke on that. And if we are going to interview any of the boards or the commissions within our scope, then I would like for you to come back and to be able to be interviewed as a former chairman of the board.
I would appreciate that. I would
Okay.
look forward to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Thompson. Is there any other public comment? Yes. Make sure it's on.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tracy Savanak. I live in Kennedy Towers, and there's a lot of untold of residents who are residing within Reading housing, and I don't understand why there's not more tickets or even through the parking authority to remove the vehicles that are doing the damages with the people in our buildings in the city and the stolen cars. I don't understand why there's not more tickets and removing of these people. And the other thing is, I also heard that there are mishandling of a lot of funds throughout Berks County. I don't know how far it goes, but I've been hearing this from different people. And shouldn't they be monitored? The people that are with the funds, shouldn't they have someone behind them? And I only know of one person that's doing it, and I'm not going to say it here, but that I've been told. But shouldn't there be someone behind the people that do the funds? That's all I wanted to say, is we got to get this straight. It's got to start somewhere. And I'm grateful for Parking Authority for going on the weekends and going and ticketing. They should do it more on Sunday. No offense, but they should. Because more stuff is done on Sunday. Not giving, let them park, but when they're not parked appropriately, it should still be assessed, because that's where they're doing a lot of the damages on Sunday. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Tracy, I wanted to just a clarification. Did you say funding?
The money that's being spent, that's being given to this area.
Oh, okay.
It's inappropriately being spent. Well, actually, there's two people that I've heard of from different people in the city that they've witnessed and heard through the staff itself. Okay. Like, I don't mean you guys. I just know other people that are not here that are misusing the funds and are getting away with it for a long time. It needs to be monitored by someone, even if it's secretly, let someone do it, because they shouldn't be touching this money. It's not theirs to touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Shadwa. Okay.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, then we will close public comments unless the commissioners want to say anything. Yes, go ahead.
Ms. Tracy, I don't know if you've ever downloaded the app, the city app. Okay. Well, if you have the phone, I'll do it when we're done. Because if you download the app, you can report cars with a picture and it can be quiet. Right. Okay, but so you can upload a picture of what's happening and it goes to everyone in the department. Okay, so, sure.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, great. Okay, and we'll move on to our agenda because we have the city auditor here. I will save my opening remarks so that she can get out in time for her next meeting. Does anyone have issue with that? Would you like her to come up now? Okay, thank you. Whatever, wherever you're comfortable, Maria, wherever you're comfortable.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Maria Rodriguez. I'm the city auditor for the city of Reading since 2019, June of 2019. That's when I became the interim city auditor for 6 months. Then in 2020, I was elected, and then again 2024. This is my second term. Evelyn talked to me about it. She wanted me to talk about my responsibility as the city auditor. For the charter, it is the one of the big responsibility of the city auditor is to have an oversight view of the city finances. And also responsible to review the annual budget for the city and provide no binding recommendation to city council. I had to put a report together that I'm working right now for the 2026 budget.
Okay.
Also, there is a lot of stuff that we review, like accounts payable, expenditure on the credit cards. I put reports on those one, and I present in a public meeting to council and the public. On the expenditure, it's not just reviewing the expenditure, it's to make sure that internal control is in place and is followed. They maintain the internal control in place and make sure all the appropriate documentation is attached when we review accounts payable. So if there is something that is not correct or something is missing, we contact the corresponding department to ensure that they provide all the information that is needed before the payments go out. We present those reports as well. They should be on the city website under the city auditor, and you should be able to see those accounts payable report that is done monthly by the city auditor. I also provide quarterly report on the city finances, especially the revenue that the city received for on earning income tax, property taxes, business privilege license, real estate transfer tax, just to mention a few. Also, I work pretty close with the outside auditor when they doing the annual audit, and also with the state auditor when they hear, especially the liquor fee auditor. The city auditor is responsible to provide all the information that is requested for the liquor fee auditor, or the majority of the information. Also, the controller of the department, the finance department is also involved if they need anything from them. I do have to provide a lot of information to the outside auditor, which currently is Urban Company, when they doing the annual audit. Like I do all the
I think I
the
gave
corresponding.
excuse me, Maria,
mhm.
did I give you my copy of the charter?
Yeah.
Oh,
this
okay,
is it.
good.
Yep.
I need that back, but
Okay.
continue
No, I will
on.
give it back to you. I
Okay.
have one in my office, so I have like 2 or 3, maybe
Okay,
more than
good.
one.
I
Yeah.
was just
so,
wondering where it was. Okay.
So I also I do audit, like an audit was You know, sometimes I do some performing audit in departments, like in the cost department, an audit was done like in 2023. We do the credit card audit. And we also present those one to city council and the public. So most likely all the job that is done is presented in public meetings. That is done by the city auditor.
Okay. I would like to have that because.
Mhm. Okay.
Are there any questions for the city? Go ahead.
Tanya Melendez again. Article 5 describes your job completely, and it also tells us that you only have eligible to do this job for 2 terms. So
Mhm.
2026 should be the end of your job as city's auditor. My question is, according to the charter, is there anything in the job description that you think or you wish would be modified before the next person comes to take over?
The charter covered pretty good the city auditor responsibility. The city auditor, when we do audit, we dig more into the root that doing like a big audit. So that's why we do a lot of detail, anybody as a city auditor, it's me today, the next one, you have to make sure that person is very detail oriented and pay attention to detail, because that's where you look for it when you're doing an audit, and make sure you document everything and you have the information. But the charter most likely explain everything or what this internal auditor should be do. Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question regarding the specific audits. How can the citizens ask, or is there a procedure that the citizens can ask for an audit? Because in terms of your independence, you work for the citizens, correct?
Mhm.
And so how does the citizens ask you to do a audit?
I don't have that answer for you, Evelyn.
Okay.
I follow the charter, and there's nothing there in the charter that say that the public should be asking for an audit. I know it will be city council and at the discretion of the city auditor according to the charter to do an internal audit.
Okay, so we need to look at that. And go ahead.
I noticed on the charter, under responsibilities, subsection D says perform specific audits of city finances from time to time as determined by the city auditor or city council. And this evening, we heard someone mention a concern about how monies are spent. Not an allegation for absolute wrong, but a question and a concern. How would that citizen then get your opinion to do an audit, since the charter says it's up to you to decide where or who to do the audits?
Well, if I see, especially since I review accounts payable, that's where you see everything, but you have to know that when there is a contract that has been presented from the administration to city council and is approved, the city auditor doesn't have much to say about that. Has been presented by the administration. City auditor is not involved when it comes to contracts and stuff like that. That's not it. That's not a.
So a citizen
that's not a responsibility of the city auditor.
So a citizen concern about how funds are being spent should go to
The
city council?
administration. Well, if you have something specific, you can put a right to know request and get the information.
Put in the right to know request, okay.
You had to do the
Thank
right
you.
to know request.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question regarding issuing. It's a 503 L. It says issuing any subpoenas in order to fulfill the duties and responsibilities of the city audit. Have you in your term issued any subpoenas?
No.
Not at all,
Mm-mm.
okay. Go ahead, Ann.
Hi, my name is Ann Sheehan. I think
Hi.
we met. In regards to the section of the charter that refers to the city auditor position, is there anything that you would amend or delete? And if so, why?
Could you repeat that, please?
Okay, sure. In regards to the section of the charter, I put my glasses on, which refers to the city auditor position, is there anything that you would amend or delete in that description? And if so, why?
Not really,
No?
no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ann. A question regarding, we talked about having the same auditor for the city for about, how long has the auditor been contracted with the city of Reading? Do you know?
I don't have that information in front of me, and that's not a responsibility of the city auditor, that's the administration. Between the administration is in charge of contracting, I'm not involved in contracts.
Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming here, taking your time and responding to our request, because we can't make this better without hearing from you guys.
Thank
okay?
you.
This one is in regards to J. Direct internal financial security and loss investigation activities. What happens when and if you discover that any losses or any transactions require investigations? Have you come across any of that? And if so, how have you handled it?
No, if there is anything, I haven't gone to anyone across, but if there is anything, I talk to the administration to find out why mistake, sometimes you make mistake and sometimes you pay out of maybe the wrong account. That doesn't mean you did that on purpose, it was a mistake. And then I will release the payment, but the accounting department will make sure that the money is posted in the right account.
And as an auditor, you do realize that you have the ability to conduct investigations and subpoenas independent of city council and the administration. Do you realize that?
I do,
Okay.
but you had to be also that we have only 2 people in the audit department. When you want to do a broad audit, you need people. I mean, when I was the internal auditor for the county first, and we had like 4 or 5 auditors there. So it's a lot of work. Just the daily job that we do is a lot, entail to a lot of work and a lot of detail that you have to pay attention. So you want to do more auditing, you will need more people in the department.
So the question then being, should your department be increased?
That all depends what, I asked for a part-time person, it was granted to me. So we have myself, 1 full-time person and a part-time position, which is empty now. It's
Okay.
not easy sometimes to find, even for part-time, they don't last. They move to bigger full-time jobs and stuff like that.
I just find,
To find like a part-time person with the credential, that that can help the department. It's hard to maintain that person, they looking professionally, looking for full-time jobs.
as the city auditor, can you request to the personnel, human resources, in order to have either part-time or full-time?
That's not up to the HR, that will be to city council.
That would be city council
Well, I
to
had to put it, I
agree?
had to request the position and, yeah.
Okay, so you said you did request a position.
The part-time, it was,
part-time.
yeah, it was council's approval, yeah.
Okay, do you need to offer another part-time or a
No.
full-time?
No, I will not recommend to part-time.
Not at all?
Mm-mm.
but you said
I
you have,
cannot even retain one part-time, so it would be hard to hire two part-time people to
okay.
hurry up, yeah.
But if the city of if the constituents want that to happen and we put it on the ballot, then surely that would be a responsibility for you.
I don't know how to say about that, Evelyn. You have to go in from council
Mm,
for
no, she's
approval.
not understanding.
Okay, any other questions?
I do.
I do.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
My question is about this topic because
Yeah,
I've
mine
heard,
also. Go ahead.
I've heard public comment before and again this today, not in deep detail. So you're not on the hot seat for this, but I'm
Mhm.
just curious and it might open up a window that I can crawl through with some other questions with other people with the city. But for the jobs of the city, whether they're full-time or part-time, what is your process of filling it? Because as the elected official, you have the right to appoint your own team.
Yes.
So the question is coming from the overwhelming concern that the tax base of the city of Reading is being poured out on expenses, and one of the large expenses would be buildings, but mostly staffing.
Mhm.
So whether it's one full-time person and one part-time person, or you get an opportunity to increase staff if it's necessary, and if you say it's not, we're not going to do that, but you get a chance to increase it, would you just walk us through bullet point how you go about making your recruitments?
They applied because we had HR, everybody had to go through HR. So you apply through HR, they do the screening and they select the more highest experienced people. And then they send it to me. I decide which one I'm gonna interview. Then I tell them which one I'm gonna interview. They make all the scheduling. And then I interview the person, I made the final decision.
So just one quick redirect. I just want to be clear because everything that you have just expressed sounds like the normal process. But there is a mindset here that the person responsible for the department is cherry picking, potentially, cherry picking their staff. When you get information from Human Resources about those applicants who have applied, are you seeing the totality of the base of applicants, or are you only seeing the applications that they are recommending that you take a look at?
They send me the information and they say, let me know which one, and then they do all the screen for those applicants, and then they call it for, and then I decided which one I'm gonna interview. And then they send me the best one. If there is somebody applied that doesn't have experience, why should we interviewing that person? They need to have experience, some type of experience to some degree.
I will respond to that,
Okay.
but not on your shoulders, because if that is a
Yeah.
personnel issue, then we'll have a conversation with them. But I just wanted clarity on how much insight you have into everyone who's applied. And thank you so much for your clarity.
Okay.
Maria, I just have one series of questions to ask you regarding the consulting services. In the budget, there are consulting fees. The mayor has budgeted for $120,000 for a consultant fee. Downtown Community consulted for $20,000. The information tech, $28,000. The trafficking engineering is 270. Public Works has $100,000 for consulting fees. The highway has $5,000. The public property is $25,000. The police has $43,000, and Human Resources has $85,000. That's a lot of consulting fees, which is 458 some odd dollars. I asked that would be reviewed because that's a lot of money. And as of today, there's certain amount of money that's already been allocated and paid. And so there are quite a few. Why does the mayor have $120,000 for consultant fees?
That's a question for the administration, Evelyn.
We
You're talking
will.
about 2025 budget or 2026?
What area did you give me? Do I have a date on this? Let me see. No, I don't see the date.
That was the information you requested?
Yes.
That's for 2025 probably.
25,
Yeah.
okay, so it would be.
Yeah, that's a question for the
We
administration.
will,
They-
we sure,
yeah,
but I thought
mhm.
maybe you could have looked into that and see why there's so much money
Well,
being
when they
spent.
put the budget together for everything they budgeted, they should have a reason why. And
Okay,
they-
so
they
we
should-
can
it
get
will
that
be the question for
information.
them, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mhm,
I have a comment.
mhm.
Has your office, and I understand, auditing isn't easy, you're short-staffed. Money budgeting is also a problem. Have you guys considered perhaps looking into interns that are in college to come and assist with the mundane work so that you can focus on other things with
That was-
oversight of them?
That
And
was
at
the
this-
reason why I asked city council to, when I came in front of city council asking for a part-time person that I concentrate more on, you see, on auditing and stuff like that, and they approved the position, but the problem is to retain the person. I already hired 2 good employees for part-time with great credential, but they don't last, like I say. It's hard to find good candidate. Yeah, and when you're working in auditing, you have to have the experience. You cannot just, you cannot
You have
hire
to love
somebody and just,
numbers.
assign some project to them for auditing. You can do that.
May I ask you,
And you
a
have to
follow-up?
train the person and it take times. And when the person is fully trained and start working, they just leave. And that's it. That's how it has been.
A quick follow-up question with the turnover and the complication of keeping someone. I do understand when you've put time and energy into training someone, you don't want to see them walk out the door
Mhm.
90 days later. What is the compensation for the part-time role?
The compensation,
Yes.
it was 23. The last one, we was paying $23 an hour.
And how many hours per week?
All depends, 20 hours, 25.
Whatever you
yeah.
needed. Do you
Mhm.
think
They
that that-
cannot work more than 28.
Do you
that's-
think that that was a market rate for that role?
For a professional person, probably was a little low, depends, somebody with the credential, and you was at the meeting when I asked for a raise for.
Yes, oh,
Yeah,
yes.
and
mhm.
it was, yeah,
It was denied.
yeah. No, it was approved.
Oh, was it?
It
Okay.
passed, yeah.
All
Mhm.
right.
Just to clarify, according to Article 501, Section 501, they say that the auditor receives an annual salary of $40,000.
No, that's way back. That was.
I was
that
hoping
was
so.
way back,
That's a
yeah,
lot,
that
little
was-
money.
That
You
was
have-
way back, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
That
you have to
was
read the editor's
In
notes.
the early 20s, probably, yeah.
okay, all
Mhm.
right, thank you.
Okay.
It's still in the
Thank
charter
you.
because that was salary from the past. yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And the only other final question for me is when city council, if there is if there's a vacancy with the auditor, city council then appoints the interim auditor so that no one else has the responsibility
That's,
until the next election. What would
That's-
you say about that?
no, and that's not a question for me. That will be up to city council and maybe legal.
But you
how-
don't have a
I don't
opinion
have to
there?
say about that. Emily.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay, all right then.
No.
Okay, we have time for another question or two, and then we will dismiss you simply because I know you stayed.
I had to go.
In,
Thank you, Maria.
in relation to Pastor Morrison's question, when you took over your office, hopefully you did a quick audit so you know what you are accountable for. What condition was the office found? And did you find it appropriate? And the reason I'm asking is because when there is a transition in that space, can be problems that don't filter to us.
I started my job on June 2019, and I started my job doing like what is auditor supposed to do. And whatever was done in the past, that's not up to me.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Maria.
you.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Yeah. See ya. Okay. So we don't have anyone else for an interview. Is there anything that you wanted to, let me see that. Our agenda here. So we'll go back. We did the press release. Let's see. Public comments. Okay, so I'm going to go back to public comments. I mean, not public comments, but to the opening remarks. I had a very good time dealing with the IT, and they promised me that they would get our names for the Charter Review Commission in place. So hopefully, if you look at that, see if it's in place. And they had to speak to the city clerk in order to make that happen. That was last week. So we're hoping that that happens. Oh, look, okay. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. All right, so it says so they did what they had to do. So Charter Review Commission of 2025, Dave Myers, Tanya Melendez, Brian Grubb. Brian, you're getting an accomplishment that you didn't, we need to work with you on that. And then also Ann Sheehan, Jonathan Mejia, we need to talk with you. And then myself, Evelyn Morrison, Sheila Perez, Adela Rodriguez, we need to have that changed. And then also Carlos Rivera and Deborah Bradford. So there it is, and the agendas are there, okay, double check so that you are in writing, and please double check so
Is
that we
Rainier's
can.
name on there?
Vina. Oh, no, Vina.
And may I also make another
Okay,
comment?
so we have to make that, okay. Can you put that so we can address that?
And may I make another comment?
And what else? Did we have anything else? Okay, because they usually have chairs and the officers as well. So we
May I
have
make
to,
a comment?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, the website, as it appears now, has been that way for about 4 weeks, about a month. The problem is that you're not listed as chairperson,
Mhm.
you're not listed as co-chair. Those things should be added.
Okay,
What I was gonna say, if you wanna just you can email it to me and I can forward it, with a list of the names, and if you have a specific title, and that way we can kind of have it set up the way all the other boards and commissions are set up with the names, the titles and all of that.
Thank you for saying that. And the reason I brought it up is because for quite some time, while we were in progress, the previous board was listed and that's how they were listed. So I expected it to be the same. Thank you.
Yeah, if someone just wants to,
I'm writing it out. I'll give it to
yeah, thank you.
And
wonderful.
don't forget to include the solicitor/solicitor secretary. I'm kidding.
Okay,
We do have solicitors listed on our boards
Okay.
and commissions, so if he wants to be listed, he can.
absolutely we want, that's documentation for the future. Amen? Okay. So when we requested also from IT to talk about looking at our survey that is to be put on the website. So they're getting ready to look at that. In that respect, I did speak with Alvernia College. I spoke with the president's assistant, and they are more than willing to allow our survey to be tabulated from them. I need to deal with the human regulations that deal with, I thought I turned this off, that deals with the human working, having a survey for humans. So it's a policy that has to be done. So they're okay with that, and we have to, so I'm hoping that Ed, you will help us to make sure that that's in the order, because I think all of us may need to sign, or maybe the chairperson can sign in order that consent for, and I already have my, my certification for human resources, human surveys. Okay, I had that during my doctorate program. So it's important that we look at an update for that, and then look at what we need to do to have that in place to get Alvernia students to take our survey. Okay, I did the same thing with the IT person at the college, Reading Area Community College. So I'm looking forward to having that information. They said they could tally it as well. So we could have 2 or 3 tabulating it so that we can get it done, and then we can combine it. But I think if we're going to do one, I think maybe Alvernia would be that. But it's all up to you, because we have the opportunity to do so.
Quick
Any
question.
question? Go ahead.
How much did Alvernia say they were going to charge us?
Nothing, that's free.
And RAC as well?
Yes, I'm a student. I had to tell them that I was the second graduating class of Alberta,
That's awesome.
it's beautiful because they are community, and the city of Reading just gave them $2 million each college. You remember?
Yeah.
During the allocations for the
ARPA money?
the art money. And not because we're paying them to do that, but they are part of our community, and they want to assist in what we're doing, especially in this type of charter review survey. Any other questions at this point? Okay, so I'm really looking forward to getting that anchored within this week, okay? Now, I liked what Maria had to say. And we need to, kind of regurgitate that, because when we talk about independence, the auditor is independent of anything other than the citizens. And I would like to see that we look at the auditor's position as pro-citizen, to be able to be a watchdog for the citizens, because we elect that person. Any questions or comments on that?
I have one comment. I really appreciated her coming in to talk to us and share information, but I'm wondering if there isn't or shouldn't be a process for a citizen to see, feel, believe something is not quite right, and have a pathway to reporting that and have it looked into. Because it seems like there may be 95,000 of the 97,000 residents that she may not be able to have any touch point from them or communication. So I'm just curious, as a Board of Commissioners, if that's not something we need to dig into and look into.
Mhm. I heard everything. Did everybody hear what she had to say? Okay.
Am I not using my outdoor voice? I can do better.
No, I was just wondering what,
You told me you
what
couldn't hear me.
what
I'm
the
trying.
interest was, Yeah, that's all. Okay. good.
Along those lines, what is the protocol? How shall I say? It sounds like, in my position, this is just me, based on what she talked about, she's very dependent on what council says. And I feel like she feels that she has to ask them for permission for everything. In addition to that, especially when it comes to investigations of potential or scrutiny about a transaction or questionable items, as an auditor, what would be their role and responsibility when it comes to that, and when it comes to the people, the constituency that she serves? Like, what is protocol? Like, because obviously you can't ask council for it. Council can be and she's in a compromising position, if you ask me. So how would a person handle that? Because her alliance and allegiance should be to the people, not to city council or the administrative staff. And that's, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But, we look to auditors to protect the people. And if there's a problem or a question when it comes to finances, and Evelyn, we've had finance problems in the parking authority, in the water authority. Heck, the forensic audit determined of the water authority back in 2017 that $83 million was overcharged to the people for capital expenditure projects in 20 years. We have the missing finances from 2019 when Linda Burns Glover questioned, why are there special events monies for 2017 and 2018 at $0? That was in December of 2019.
So we have a history, you're talking about a history here. And the auditor should be the first line of defense for the citizens and our finances.
But equally so, city council and the mayor also hold that power.
Now, this was the question. Did in her term, and this is not personal, I love
No.
Maria, but we asked, did she ever issue any subpoenas in order to fulfill the duty and responsibility of the city auditor? When the parking authority was a half a year late with the audit, and they had not developed their audit and didn't submit it, she's responsible for the submission. And it was late, but there was no follow-up there. And so there are things that need to be addressed, but it may not be in this area that we need to address it.
May I add a
Okay.
comment to that?
Yeah.
Because I see where the conversation is going, and I don't disagree. But I think there's another facet I'd like to add to the review. Because anytime an employee, an elected official especially, feels chilled in exercising their duties and their rights of power that are given to them by the public,
By
there
the
could
charter.
be
Mhm.
by the charter, but also because they're elected by the public. So the
Correct.
public puts her in a role. But in
Mhm.
her role, not personal, talking about the role, that role exists in a culture.
Mhm.
And in this culture, I know how this commission was treated. So the question becomes, in my mind, when I look at the people systems here, what is the culture in the city of Reading as an employee / employer what is the culture? Because that culture should represent what the public wants it to represent.
Mhm.
So I think that's another area that we're going to have to smooth through, not just when we speak with the Human Resources Department. I think that person's got a lot of questions that are building up right now in our minds and
Yeah.
in our hearts. But I think this is more global for every position, from city council president
Mhm.
to the mayor to every other role.
And the question again is, I didn't ask this question, but I wanted her to consider if 45 years of an auditor is more than enough. 45 years to audit a city. I mean, it just makes it sound as though and when the auditor had been involved with a particular department to pay some of the bills, you know, I don't think that's an auditor's job. Outside auditor, not the auditor here. We're talking outside auditor, you know.
May I
and-
add a comment to that as well? I think the role of auditing is a constant role. I don't see it as we've got one situation for an audit and that it's a done deal. It's a full-time,
It is.
it's a
yeah.
position that I think is needed. Now, I'm more curious about those numbers you shared for consulting, because look, what's going on with that? That is very curious, but I wouldn't ever want to have the city not have an auditor.
Well, sure, that,
Yeah.
but see, there should be you know, anytime there's an amount of 10,000 or more, the city has to do a request. So if you continue to have the same auditor over again, that means you put out the request and then you chose them again. But what is the contract? I mean, I just don't understand that. But Ed, I know you're going to weigh in on this, but she said that's an administrative, she did say that's administrative question, the contract. So that's the solicitor and that's the administration. Because Eddie does sign off, the mayor does sign off on every contract. So that might be something for him or the solicitor to talk about.
One
But-
other, I'm sorry.
I'm going to go back to Herbine has been the auditor for the city for how long?
Almost 45 years. Mhm.
Point of
And
order for 1 second. I appreciate the conversation and I think it's a great conversation to have, but it's not directed to within our purview of what we need to do. This is also not an official meeting, so I'm going to excuse myself and I'm going to say goodnight to everyone and I will see you next week. Okay? 'Cause my headache has just blown up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a pleasant weekend.
Thank you.
I hope you
All
feel
right.
better.
Hope you feel better.
So getting back to how, I guess the question is, because in all these years, there have been problems with the finances, but Herbine has never caught it.
Let us do this. Let us kind of take that into, the executive committee and see how we would want to deal with that. And if we need to get with Ed on that, that's another story. So we'll see you then. Are you going to be able on Monday? Okay. And I'll be with you, hopefully, yes, for Monday's meeting. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Tanya. Have a good day. All right, so, so those are the things. Now, as you can see, just one interview can take a long time, but we're getting better because we at least have the questions involved and what kinds of things need to be addressed when we're doing the review. I know it's interesting because I can't wait now to look at the next city council. I did just sign the paper for city council and the questions for them to go and then to be able to, for them to respond. So Ed did that, I did the signing, and he'll send them out, okay?
So just to reiterate, the questions are being submitted to those that didn't attend so that they can,
All of them.
the survey questions.
No, not the questions, for the questions for their roles and responsibilities.
Oh, for
to
the
city
people that
council.
didn't shoot, okay, that didn't
Yes,
show
yes,
up. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so that helps that, okay? So then they have the questions, they'll be able to respond, they'll come in, they'll, deal with us like that. So that's, anything else?
Mr. Thompson is raising.
Sorry, real quick.
I'm gonna let you come in and,
Just
From the discussion that you guys are having, the role of the arbiter is or the auditor is the arbiter of the checks and balances of the city government, of the financing. What they lack is autonomy. They have to answer to someone else in order to move things through. What they need is total autonomy, independent from the city legislative and administrative. Well, administrative and executive and executive level, so that they're able to perform their duties independently
Yes.
of those two organizations. If I'm hearing correctly, and that's my suggestion, that's the road that they should be heading towards, complete independence, so that they're able to do these things. The hiring practices, once again, are they being cherry picked and they're not getting they're not actually getting the full scope of what individuals applying for those positions? Is it nepotism or whatever? We don't know. That once again, that's something, I don't know if that's within the scope of this organization or not, but those are some of the things that need to be addressed. But if they have autonomy, and that's written into the charter as being autonomous and an independent agency, that would address a lot of your issues.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I appreciate this. And see, I always think it should be a give and take when we're doing decisions. But we're not at a decision at this point because we can't. But just the fact that you're able to respond to us, that's real important. You know, I wish we could have that all the time.
Not
Okay.
for nothing, but I love the idea of full autonomy.
Mhm.
I mean, that's an
has to be.
easy referendum that we can put on the ballot. And that would, I think, put that person in place, because then it's almost like a conflict of interest type of thing. You know, are you stepping on people's toes? But once you have full autonomy, you know that that's your role
Yeah.
and nobody can.
Let us explore that a little closer so that we can be able to zero in on that. Because I'd like us to put 6 charter questions on the ballot.
I'm gonna jump. Let me jump in. So this is not an official meeting, and I think you should stay away from discussing specific charter referendum items
Okay.
because you don't have a quorum.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's fine to sit here and just talk sort of generally. We've done that at other
Right.
other sessions where we haven't had a quorum. But if you're going to start talking about specific action to put something on
Oh,
a
that's right.
ballot, that really would be a deliberation that should occur at a duly constituted meeting.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that you remind us because we get, we can get caught up.
Let me I'm sitting here, if I may.
Go ahead.
3 out of the last 4 meetings, we have lacked a quorum. I would very strongly recommend that the leadership of this commission within the next week really push to do something about that. I mean, if we get a quorum at an upcoming meeting, we should seriously, make sure it's on the agenda. We should seriously consider changing the quorum requirement to lower it.
Yeah.
But we have several members who I think it's fair to say are just not going to come.
Yeah.
So and we have 1 vacancy. So we're already skating on thin ice to get a quorum as it is. And
Thank you.
I think something should be done to fill those seats,
Okay.
because you're supposed to have 11 members and you're really operating with 6, 7,
Thank you, Ed, for sharing that and putting that on the record, simply because we've been at a disadvantage all the way through. But I did speak with the mayor, left a message. I did speak with Melissa. I did speak with Jamie to either ask their people to come or replace them. Melissa said she would. So would Jamie but he said that Mr. Mejia said he only expected 1 month, one meeting a month. I said, but Jamie, that was up to the board to decide how we were going to do that. He said, oh, no. I said, okay, let's just see other people. If you need other people, let's get it done. So I did speak with them. I didn't put it in writing, but I did speak with them. And also left a message for the mayor to have someone. There is a person that's being vetted that I understood. He just has to sign it. I don't know. And then there's also another person that is very much interested, and she would like to, take this time within the next week to see whether or not she would want to join the board. So I think, we have to do it. So on the next agenda, can I say that we can put this on the agenda? No, I can. I can, yeah. Mhm. On the quorum, the reduction of the quorum. And then we could get a lot more done, okay? Okay. So we can review the charter questions, the review charter questions, right? Yeah, we're not making any decisions on them. No. What do you say, Ed?
Well, at the meeting last week, it was discussed that people would get their let me just let me just find it here. The chair, I'm reading from the minutes that I prepared from last week's meeting. The chair asked the members of the Charter Review Commission to be prepared to address the survey questions. The only survey questions that I've seen are the ones that Ms. Sheehan circulated. And I don't, depending on what you're going to discuss, I don't know whether we should be doing that or not without a quorum.
And without, Ann, do you have anything to say? Okay.
I'm pretty confused with yes, no, when it's a quorum, when it's not a quorum, what we can discuss and not discuss. I'm leaving tonight. When you guys are all together, organized, let me know.
Okay, my brothers and sisters, this is what we have. And so we'll maintain for next meeting. And the first thing we're going to do is if we have a quorum, because you see, it's about.
Let me just explain my view of the quorum and a meeting. So if under the Sunshine Act, deliberations that are going to lead to a decision need to be discussed in public at a duly constituted meeting.
Mhm.
Now, we have advertised this meeting. We obviously have members of the public here. But I don't think the group is less than a quorum should be deliberating such that it would lead to any official action. I mean, I don't know how else I can explain it. It's a distinction. the lack of a quorum is obviously very frustrating because we've had two people walk out.
Forgive me, I'm sorry.
But, so I'm sitting here on guard as to what you can and can't be doing, and I'm sorry that it's, maybe difficult to comprehend. But, we're hampered by the, I mean, your membership of this commission is hampering you from doing anything because you're just not getting enough people here.
Can I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
Before, just a minute, let us close out. We can. Yep. Any questions, comments?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Sheila.
Ed's right. In the last 3 out of the last 4 sessions, we haven't had quorum. When you get nominated to a commission, first of all, the fact that Mr. Mejia thought that it was only once a month, so that would give us six meetings to put together this task. That's unachievable. That's not unconscionable. Therefore, I mean, we should have been discussing, and I guess, how we're going to solve that problem so that we can continue to move forward and be on time with the 6 months. So at this point, we're behind 3 meetings. 3 meetings. Do we now submit the letter to council to give us an extension because of all the barriers that have been created because of the fact that the commission members of the commission haven't been committed? How do we resolve this so that we can fulfill the task that has been placed on our lap so that we can be ready for January 31st?
Anything else?
I have a question. Can this commission legally be disbanded and reconstructed?
No. No.
Hmm?
No. See. Yeah. No, you can't disband it, but we're going to have to look at other people who may be interested in getting the work done. And I believe that we need to scout. Yeah, we do. And for those people, Ed, I would like for you to give me counsel on what I can do as a chair and what I cannot do in terms of the overall composition of our charter when all else fails, when we don't have people who are not committed, when we have people who will leave the meeting because whatever reason. But the important thing is, what can I do as the chair of this committee to maintain and preserve this commission? Do I have to go to court with that or what? Because I'm ready to go to court to make sure that it becomes an issue. And then we have to deal with all the other stuff that was here and the violations that were here.
I don't think going to court is really a viable remedy. I think you're the chair, you have 2 vice chairs, you have the leadership of the group.
And the treasurer.
I think, and the treasurer. I think collectively, you need to go to the appointing authority. So that would be city council and the mayor. Honestly, I don't know who appointed who. I mean, I know 7 of the people were appointed by council and I believe 4 were appointed by the mayor. I mean, I'm sure that's information is knowable. I just don't know what it is, but go to those people. I mean, if you've talked to Melissa, you've talked to Jamie, but go to them and say, look, this commission is floundering due to a lack of members, and ask that they take immediate action to remedy it. They don't have to appoint somebody by ordinance. So you don't have to worry about the laying on the table for 2 weeks. They can put it on an agenda, request the resignation of those who are not attending, fill the vacancy and appoint replacement so that you have a full complement.
Okay, very good.
That to me,
Thank you.
that to me is what can produce the most immediate, effective solution. That's my
Very
opinion.
good. Thank you for your legal advice.
Can
It's
I ask a
necessary.
question about that?
And any of you that want to be on the committee, you've been here more than the committee people have, the commission. so.
Can I ask, I have a question.
Mhm.
If we ask the city council people to ask their appointees who don't show up to resign, how long do we wait for them to get a resignation? Before we can appoint, before we can ask them to appoint
Yeah.
somebody else?
Mhm. They don't have.
I mean, I think it can happen relatively quickly. I mean, here's my thinking. And I've said this over the years many times that because I've seen with different boards that I've represented, I've seen all types of board members. And to me, duty number one, if you're appointed to a board, and I sit on boards myself, I mean, duty number one is to show up at meetings. Okay, you don't necessarily have to read the materials. You don't necessarily have to pay attention. You don't have to necessarily be all that informed, but at least show up. So you have one vacancy that should be filled. You had a resignation. That's an easy one. Whoever Adela was appointed by should, find a replacement and appoint a replacement. For the people that are not, and I don't like to speak for people, but I'm presuming two of the members that just aren't showing up are just not interested. So go to them and say, respectfully, you don't seem to be interested. Here's, even bring them a letter of resignation and have them sign it, and then have somebody, ready to go to a point immediately. So I think it can happen pretty quickly.
Within the week.
Well, it's got to get on it. I'm sure it's probably, I mean, I wasn't involved with appointing you to the commission. I don't know whether it was an action of the entire council or whether each individual just appointed somebody, but if it was just that, yeah, it could happen within a week. Yeah.
You something. You have resignation, and I believe Ann was speaking to, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when you ask someone for the resignation, they could take forever to give you a letter of resignation, correct? Okay, so to deal with that, resignation versus dismissal or removal because of lack of attendance.
That's a hard, I've thought of, excuse me, Mr. Thompson. I don't know that there's anything in here that talks about removal of a commission member. So.
We can't do that.
Well.
Maybe we should add it.
it's a
Lack
little
of
bit-
attendance?
I can talk to the city solicitor to see what his views are on it, but I don't know that this commission has the ability, in fact, I know that you do not have, my opinion is you do not have the authority as charter review commissioners to remove a member because you're not the appointing authority. It would have to
Right.
be city council or the mayor.
Correct.
And I don't know there's nothing in 1203 that allows removal. You would have to try to find some authority elsewhere. Again, before we get all twisted in legal knots though, ask them to resign. I don't know that that's happened. I mean, why would they say no? I mean, I don't mean to sound naive, but why would they, if they're not coming and they're not interested?
Hey, give
Why
it
would-
here, sign this. Give me the pen.
Why would they say
That's
no?
it.
Didn't we make a,
If I'm on a board and I'm not coming, I don't know that I even want to be attached to it anymore because I don't want any of the liability that might come along with it. So, I mean, let's not worry about the legality so much. Let's try to first get secure resignations.
Ed, didn't we already discuss and vote that if a person missed 3 consecutive meetings, and at this point, we've got we've got 3 people who have missed more than 3 consecutive meetings. What is the ramifications of
What we
that?
discussed, and I'd have to check the minutes to see if we actually voted on it, but what we discussed would be recommending, again, we don't have the removal authority.
You're
we would
absolutely right. That's
recommend-
what we decided.
Yeah, and that's. We don't have a quorum, but.
It's time to execute that.
Sheila is vice chair. Yeah, go to city and bring it up because, you know, you still have time, but, you know, I'm going to just remind everybody again, you know, asking for an extension of your term is fine. But remember, after 6 months, you lose the magic power. You know, and that to me is very important.
It is.
If you really want to accomplish something, you need to get the recommendation to city council and the mayor within the 6 months.
Okay.
Because then they have to put it on a ballot.
May I bring up another point? As we move forward and try to reestablish the right number of members on this board, in the interim, what then? Because
Well, the other thing you can do is, I mean, if everybody comes, you have enough. So, I mean, Carlos has missed a couple meetings and I know he's a busy guy. But maybe somebody should talk to him and say, look, Carlos, you're a valuable member of this group, but we need you to make it a priority to get to the next meeting. You know, if you can get, you have 8 functioning members, put a full court press on them to get them to the meeting next Thursday night. Or if, and I hate to say this because it's, you know, rescheduling is potentially chaotic, but if Thursday nights don't work, figure out another time to meet, you know, when everybody could be there, because you do have enough. It's just a matter of getting them to the meetings.
And you know, sorry, when we want the agenda to be met on the things that we want, we're here. You know, but when we're not as interested as if there's something on the agenda that you want. And see, that's the sad part, because we need to be all committed. So I mean it. If anybody here would like to be to participate, you know, do it. Have the application. But more importantly, Anne, because we need to get busy. We really need to get busy because we have a survey, a community survey that must take place before we can talk about our report and what we need to do on the election, on the ballot questions. So there's things that need to be done. So if any of you have an interest, stand by, because we're going to get the, no, wait, I'm going to allow the last public comment. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Claudette Bullock. I have been here before. As I stated, I filled out the application to join the board. I have not gotten a reply back to get the go. I do know in most meetings, if you miss 3 consecutive meetings, something should be done about that. We all have emergencies that come up. We may not be able to get here, but what I'm hearing here is that you're on a limited time. And if you don't have a quorum, you're stale. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. So you gotta narrow the gap right here in this committee in order to fulfill the responsibilities of the Charter Review Board. I don't know how it was established that when a board member does not come after 3 consecutive times, that you just don't have a quorum and you continue on. You don't have a quorum, you just continue on. That, it's a waste of time. It's a total waste of time. So I don't know, I'm still getting acquainted with all this, but is there any place in the ethnic rules of the charter or the review about a board member that constantly doesn't show up?
No.
Why not?
We've talked about that before at meetings that you weren't present, and all this group can do is recommend to the powers that appointed the members of the board, recommend that somebody be removed, but this group does not have any authority to remove board members.
Okay, how long does it take for the mayor or his office to sign my application?
We don't know. Well, we
have
can,
no
we can talk to you offline about that. I mean, that's what we were just talking about, is taking steps to try to fill some of these vacancies.
Yeah. So,
Because it's so sad that you don't have a quorum and you have an agenda. And each time you come and you don't have a quorum, the agenda grows.
My concern is that we have to do the public hearings. I love the idea that Ann brought up for the district, of town hall meetings in each district, so that makes it a lot simpler. But to get those surveys back in a timely fashion, to get them to Alvernia, to get them to RAC, to be compiled, that's a lot of work. So our time is coming close to getting short. So.
You gotta write your name in.
I'm going to entertain your motion to, I really can't. Ask us offline because we're done. Okay, we're done. So I entertain your motion. Thanks, Ann.